So, while Starlight and Sakura were having their match with Flutter Nice, Starlight's friends were flanking Nightmare Banneret as he wrestled with Whisper. I used my chains on her, but they passed through her like she was nothing. I narrowed my eyes and created Lightning Cleaver, driving it hard through the claws she was using to hold me. She didn't even flinch. I rolled my eyes and just used it to cut off the individual talons, but a set of vines whipped out and pulled them back on in an instant. Finally, I gave in and just vibrated free, even if it meant landing next to the enemy, vulnerable as I waited for my intestines to sort themselves out. The others were enough of a distraction that Whisper barely noticed me. Be careful not to hurt her, she's just confused and scared, Banneret begged. I'm trying to help all of you! Bright Eyes, standing in the back and acting as lookout while her butterfly kept the exit open, called out to Whisper. You were born from my soul? How can you bring yourself to trap your friends like this against their will? Fluttershy's response was serene, even as it echoed from everywhere and nowhere. Sometimes you have to lie to spare somebody's feelings. If a fool pours their heart into a dress and asks your opinion, of course you'll say it's beautiful, even if it's the ugliest thing in the world. And when they go and make an even uglier dress, and another, you keep lying over and over again. That's what love is. A few dozen fully grown, fully armored pink and yellow dragons flew out of the ring of fog and tackled Banneret, pushing away the volunteer Thestrals. Maybe I was still delirious from turning myself into a molecule milkshake, but I swear one of them looked like Dragozilla. Don't we get a fair fight? Patch shouted. The dragon turned and breathed fire on her pointedly. Giant party cannon exploded out of Sugar Creek Corner, sitting to the sides of the Friendship Express. Oh yeah, that's happening! Pinkie hopped on top of it, now wearing a red French army uniform with gold ropes, white pants, and black boots. She was also wearing a mustache. She put on a Napoleon hat, drew a sword, and pointed at the dragon swarm. Tiro finale! The recoil sent the giant party cannon rolling over backwards, and a pink cannonball tainted with Pinkie's key mark exploded in the middle of the scaly horde, obliterating it along with a few empty buildings. The several 100,000 Scootaloos made one hell of an evac crew. Clover just stared, awestruck. Don't look at us, she's your imaginary friend, Patch snorted. You know, that makes a lot of things make sense, somehow. But that's not fair, Whisper's voice stammered. Hypocrisy was not lost on us. She didn't bother summoning more. That many huge constructs at once probably ate up more energy than they were worth. Instead, she changed tactics, seemingly directing her constructs to block Sweetie and Applebloom from the exit. The smaller dragon constructs still in the field breathed as much mist as they could towards them before it was burned away by mirror. If I had to guess, Shy was trying to turn them against us. Weak. Regenerate faster, you stupid nightmare! Shit! Melody looked even more worried than I felt. Razoroo twirled into the sky and came down running a shooting star, shooting sparkles from her hooves that embedded themselves in Whisper's body like ninja stars. Did shaking your neurons out of alignment cause hallucinations? Have I been breathing in too much illusion fog? I'll cover for you. Sweetie's a friend of mine too, Raz chatted. Melody didn't need to be told twice. She shook off faster than Pinkie Pie on a sugar rush. You're supposed to be watching Applejack's back, I reminded her. Don't worry, Dashie, I've got it covered, Gramfloon said from the front door of the library. Then she ducked inside and popped up behind Applejack between blinks. Thanks Celestia, she's on our side. Melody, meanwhile, played a sick guitar riff on her claymore that shot out the constructs targeting the Crusaders into bits. The look on her face. It reminded me of Rarity's show back in the boutique earlier. Sweetie Belle blinked at her. Who are you? Just call me Great Grandma Melody, okay? She gave Sweetie a nuzzle. Couldn't help my baby when she needed me, but I can help you. She turned to Scoots. Keep flying, kid. You got a guardian angel watching your back. If there's one thing Melody taught me, don't mess with the mother, or many times great grandma for that matter. A lot of constructs are learning that lesson right now. My arteries were more or less entangled by now. Razoroo helped me up. Mom, let me help! Pinkie squirmed in the forelegs of her Scootaloo, flying alongside Derpy as her and Sparkler's Scoots guarded their rear. I helped the doctor tons of times! I can help now! No, Derpy insisted. He'll get hurt! Scootaloo's helping! I'm gonna have a long walk with her parents when we're blown here. Sparkler kept adding snide commentary to herself, dangling from her mother's hooves. Maybe I should follow her example. That look in her eyes. She's scared, but she's not about to admit it. I had no idea they were all from different worlds. 3 survivors and 3 Scootaloos. Sorry, Applejack. But maybe it's for the best they never find out the truth. No, please, come back! They're going to do terrible things to you if you leave! Fluttershy shouted. She's lying. She ain't got a clue. Nobody but the biggest loonies would go to this much trouble to save y'all if they've just wanted nasty things to happen to ya. Hera was using a royal cantrelop voice to make sure she was heard. It's always good to hear you say a comforting truth, Applejack, Pinkie chimed in. Mira smiled wryly. Guess I've been so stuck on cruel truths for so long. When I say something happy, you know it's the real deal. Sword's sense of joy can be all the more honest, I agreed. My old friend smiled at me, so happily and gratefully. How could I help but smile back? Meanwhile, Tinky was still trying to escape her mom's protection. Just let me help, Mom. I'm not a baby. You're my baby, and I'm keeping you safe. Derpy bucked one construct in the face, while Sparkler blinded another. Some Scoodlers were helping other injured individuals to the exit. I grimaced. So they're bad flank. Got it, I said. Little fools having to fight and shoulder a huge responsibility. The fate of the world on their hooves. I wish I could say I'd never seen such things before. Childhood cut short is always a tragedy. Except this is their chance to finally save you. They fought so hard for you in their respective world lines, and always died before they could succeed. This is their only chance to clear that weight from their soul. Can't say I don't empathize with that. After all, wasn't I fighting for the same reason? Exuberant, dogged, heartfelt loyalty. I could see so much of myself in all of them, the way I was supposed to be. They were all inspired by you, Rainbow Dash. They all learned to protect others and oppose evil because of you. Even when you felt a Discord sickness, the you they believed in gave them strength. Got that right! Scoodaloon 99,001 shouted as she did a flying backflip, knocking her opponent off their hooves. It seemed like the more determined I was to feel rotten, the more determined every pony around me got to give me reason to smile. Raz helped me get out of Whisper's reach when the nightmare made a grab for me again, and my cut from before was nothing. An eternal loop of fun and games with no consequences, where things are only ever as serious as you want them to be. Isn't that paradise? I couldn't even tell who Whisper was screaming at this point. Hell's better than your paradise, Fluttershy! Came the royal canterlap voice of Nightmare Mirror. Clover came up behind us and helped slicing away the strands of pink trying to trap us. You think this is paradise? I've been there, Fluttershy. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't want my friends to go to Tartarus. Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Spike, Applejack. Do you really want to go to hell that bad? No more lies, I said. No more resets. We're going to face punishment for our sins like grown adults. But then I mumbled to myself. And there's something I need to do first. We can't do that here. Rainbow, we can't always get what we want, said Razaru, who must have overheard me. I frowned at her. There's only one thing I want left. She met my gaze evenly. I'd cut out pieces of my soul if I could give that to you. The puppets were wiped out, and Whisper was directing all our constructs towards either Starlet and Zecora, or the horde of Scoodledoos protecting the escaping ponies. The Nightmare was now fighting Spike, Razaru, Clover, Patch, and Bright Eyes with no backup, and Spike was doing a good job of keeping her focus on one big target, but she kept healing and wasn't even flinching from all the damage. Not having any ranged attack or being a walking Cuisinart like Clover, Bright Eyes glared at her own weapon. Seriously, it had to be swords? They're pretty looking, but rifles would have been more practical, Bright Eyes grumbled. Her sword transformed into butterflies again, then into a crossbow. Killing medieval, huh? I suppose this works too. Thank you, Lance. She began firing shots at the vital points of the nightmare, points that should have at the very least slowed it down. Each arrow ignited in its target before turning back into butterflies, who flew back into Bright Eye's side and became new ammo. Ha, wish I'd thought of this earlier. Sorry for intruding on your fight. Patch bowed apologetically as she burned and froze patches of the giant nightmare. My insides had fully regenerated. Fucking finally, that took way longer than it should have. I looked at the nightmare, then slowly turned my gaze towards the fake sun. I flexed my wings. It's okay, you can take care of this thing. I'm going after Nightmare Whisper. Wait, what? I didn't stick around to explain. I just flew straight up. I should have known she'd just trade one life for another. It's smart, I'll give her that, but she overlooked one small minuscule thing. My chains don't work on her. Whatever we've been fighting doesn't have free will. If the kindness of Lies could project herself through a construct that confuses even Mirror's senses, why not a giant puppet when Mirror's already distracted? But puppet strings aren't connected to nothing. One problem, Shy realized what I was doing immediately, and the sky filled with fog. I was wrong about Shy's reserves. A wall of constructs formed right on top of me. Want to do this the hard way? We'll do this the hard way! Sonic Rain Boom! I blew right through the wall of Nightmare Whisper's toys, only to find another wall of them waiting behind it. Sonic Rain Boom! Sonic Rain Boom! Sonic Rain Boom! They're all swarming all around me, weighing me down! Get off of me! I ripped my way through, wings pumping and hooves clawing, bits of my barding breaking off piece by piece until all that's left is my battered Champron. More enemies pile on top of me like a waterfall the closer I get to the source. 2 flaps up and 5 flaps back! Then unexpected help comes from all sides. Scoodaloos? Yeah, of course. They weren't the surprise. I don't know the full story, but I'll trust you, Rainbow Dash, Spitfire said. Just promise us a full answer later, Thunderlane added. The Wonderbolts, freed of their puppet shells, with Spitfire leading the formation, and Thunderlane and the rest of the Ponyville weather team. All of them. Spitfire, Mistyfly, Fleetfoot, Soren, Blaze, Rapidfire, Wavechill, Highlands, Lady, Surprise, Cloudkicker, Raindrops, Cloudchaser, and Flutter. None of them looked at me like I was the big scary monster I should have been. They looked at me like we were friends. I was stunned. I was just plain stunned. They were in their right minds. They didn't have any sort of brainwashing on them, and they'd all come to help me anyway. My elements of loyalty and free will glowed bright. Spitfire, save it and do whatever the hell you were doing, you dumbass! Constructs were obviously confused by all the new targets. Shy was having a hard time focusing on the sky as well as the fighting below. It'd take a few minutes for her to get her bearings straight. A few minutes was all I needed. I can see them from this close, the puppet strings snaking down, either for me or my friends. I sense a pulse of lightning and obliterate them without a second thought. I fly higher, and higher, and higher, past Cloudsdale, past everything, until the painted sky is right before my hooves. I give one final push and smash straight through. The pieces of the fake sky fell behind me like glass. I land on the backside of the sky. The new floor I'm standing on is artistically painted with all the constellations and the moon. And here was all the background machinery that kept this theme park Ponyville running. The ceiling was a mind-breaking crisscross of wooden pulleys and ropes stretching as far as the eye could see. The forest of puppet strings around me dangling through the floors like it wasn't even there. And there she was in the center of it all, lifted off the ground by the threads wrapped around her hooves and tail, pulling countless more with her telekinesis. She wasn't actually the size of the building. She was small for a nightmare. She didn't have bleeding shackles. Her horn didn't bleed at the base. She didn't have claws instead of hooves. She didn't have a hole in her chest with a glowing orb containing all of Equestria's suffering. She didn't have fangs or glowing, pupilless eyes. Instead, I saw a beautiful, demure mare with a coat a few shades paler than it used to be. Her key mark was a trio of blue butterflies. A pair of delicate butterfly wings lay limply on her back. Her mane and tail were flowing gracefully, dotted with the little white lilies. Platinum armor covered her hooves and neck. A wary blue dragon eye looked out at me. Next to her was a half-eaten daisy sandwich, a picture of us six back in our happy, bygone Element of Harmony days together in Ponyville, a heart-shaped picture of Flutternice, a full hood blanket, and a truckload of knitted wool animals, including one of Angel. This was the real Nightmare Whisper. She looks exhausted. Fluttershy, it's over. No! She cried out fearfully, though not for her own sake. Never for her own sake. Nightmare Whisper had completely grown past fearing for herself long, long ago. A puppet of me dropped down from the rafters and flew right at me, capable of everything I'd been capable of as a Pegasus. Every stunt, every move, every technique, my equal in every way. I broke it apart and tossed it aside with one swift stroke of my telekinesis. Don't come any closer, Rainbow Dash! Avoidance was never the solution, Whisper. She fumes a bit at that. Stop calling me that! My name is Fluttershy! Stay back! Don't make me! If you really are Fluttershy again, why aren't you acting like it? I asked. I wasn't angry at her. I'm not sure I could be. You're still acting like a nightmare. Elements of Harmony stolen. My wings! Into the maze. Mickey Mark? Gotta be my element. Discord. Put him up, jerk! Something important to say? A weighty choice is yours to make. The right selection or a big mistake. If the wrong choice you choose to pursue, the foundations of home will crumble without you. Dang it, I hate riddles. Whatever, come on, jerk. Except Cloudsdale fall apart without me. Discord says, that box contains your wings. You can take them and leave the game, or you can carry on aimlessly wandering this maze. Your choice. Keep them. They're yours. I have to find my friends. Discord is absolutely stunned. What? Your home will be destroyed! I know they wouldn't want me to betray the world just to save them. Then you're betraying them! It's not betrayal if I'm following everything the pegs I stand for. I smile elatedly. I have the weirdest sensation that I should have literally said these words eons ago. My place is with my friends, I continue. I'm never abandoning Twilight, or Applejack, or Pinkie Pie, or Fluttershy, or Rarity. Oh, and what if I told you they were all about to give up my game? And they'll need a loyal friend to get their hearts back in the game. Good thing I'm here. I turned around and started to shout away. You're condemning all the Pegasi who won't take off in time to death! I freeze and turn back on him, sparking a blazing fury. You're condemning them! I snarl. You're the threat! You're the menace! You're the source of the chaos! And what's coming of all? You played depraved games to dodge personal responsibility for what you did! I charge at him like a bull searing red. Twisted sickos like you! Discord's face meets my hoof, and it's the greatest physical and emotional thrill I've ever experienced. Don't deserve to call the shots! I shouted, pounding him in the face again and again. Yes, yes. Feel his flesh give way beneath your hooves. Look at the fear in his eyes, taste his helplessness in the air. Feel him squirm under you, pathetic, helpless, unable to do a thing. A sweet voice breathed in my ears. Yes, I hissed. He betrayed his people, his duty, his family, his friends, and traitors like him should be punished. I grinned wider, relishing the sick squelch of his blood beneath my hooves. And best of all, you don't have to feel an ounce of guilt for any of it. He's the villain and you're the hero. There's nothing you could do to him that will ever cross any line. My nightmare manacle. No. No, I screamed, shaking my head. I know Discord wasn't behind this. Not anymore. I looked behind Discord, seeing translucent flaming chains leading back to a white masked purple nightmare. I flew forward and decked the Phantom of Nightmare Eclipse in the face, sending her spinning into a garden wall. I am not you! I'm never going to be you! You're gone! I'm never becoming you! I'm not a sadist! Do you hear me, you worthless bully? I looked at Discord, bruised, bleeding, claws and horns cracked. I'm sorry, I said. I meant it. I offered him a hoof up. Discord, the maze, Nightmare Eclipse shattered. Whisper's cheek was bleeding. Why? Rainbow Dash, that's what you wanted more than anything! I gave you what you wanted! I gave you what you wanted! Twilight Sparkle, my Twilight Sparkle, would never want me to run away from the consequences of my actions. I wouldn't be a very good role model for Scootaloo, now would I? This is my loyalty, of my own free will. I'm protecting you! Now Pony is living here, we're just existing! This place is nothing but a big lie. Everything! And with my telekinesis, I tore apart the background machinery, pulling it to pieces and watching it fall apart around us. Rainbow Dash, stop that right now! A puppet of my father said sternly. I telekinetically blew it apart from the inside out. Stop it, Rainy! This one of my mother. I dismantled it between eye blinks, the hollow pieces clattering to the floor with the rest of this grand deception. Why? This is your world! Your world, Rainbow Dash! Nightmare Whisper wept. Yeah, it was my world. My world. Mine. And they were all trapped in it. Our fight had entered a lull. We're both catching our breaths, and I'm feeling talky. And all of this, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve a perfect paradise. None of us do. My world is dead. There's no place for me anywhere anymore. And I'm just gonna have to come to terms with that. I need to finally live up to everything I did. I'm sorry, Fluttershy, but I'm done dodging responsibility. I kick out a hind leg, destroying another segment of scenery. It falls straight on top of the decapitated head of my puppet mother, cracking it open. I actually choke up, feeling a hot, salty droplet trickle down my cheek. Don't think I don't appreciate what you're trying to do for me, I tell Whisper sadly. For all of us nightmares. Feels like I'm taking a bulldozer to my own birthday party, only 1,000 times worse. But 170,000 Scootaloos, Whisper. 170,000! You helped me save half of them! I'm sorry, she murmurs. I shake my head sadly. I embrace the fantasy and allow mortals to be entrapped. I embrace reality, and I hurt you, my old friend. All those times seeing you lose your body to Fluttercool. I can't tell you how badly I missed you, Shy. The kindness of life smiles the smallest bit through her tears. Nightmares are as good as tornadoes in pony form, I continue. Doomed to ruin everything around us, even at our most passive, including other nightmares. But we can at least think for ourselves now. We have a chance to try and fix some of the mess we made. But how can we do that if we're living in a fog? For a single heartbeat, I see something like understanding in Nightmare Whisper's eyes. Thunder Mane twisted itself into ropes and shot towards me at light speed. I meet them with my chains, then broke them off myself and heated them until they exploded. Nightmare Whisper cried out in pain, and I flapped my wings to charge her through the debris. Her eyes meet. The stare! Must stop. Must not upset Mommy, Fluttershy. She's very cross. And we smack into each other's heads. Ouch. I'll skip the details about our horns. I'm just happy we can regenerate. But I was staring you, Nightmare Whisper whispered, small and confused. Momentum, Fluttershy. Not even you can stare that down. I summoned a piece of cloth from a storage closet up here and tied it around my eyes. Forgot about the stare. Wouldn't make that mistake again. If it's all the same to you, I'm gonna skip the details of the fight between me and my exhausted, sleep-deprived childhood best friend. She wouldn't stop. She wouldn't give up. I finally just used my chains to hold her down. Not the ideal solution, but it was the best I could do. Then I touched my horn against her core. She'd broken the element of cruelty stuck in her chest in half to give Flutternice her own body, with a half staying inside her turning back into kindness. But at Flutternice's request, Nightmare Eclipse cut her element out, forcing her soul back into her brain. And with screaming, it wasn't much less painful the other way around. Using my Magica and Fluttershy's core severed her tie to my pocket world. I was revoking her admin privileges, and I completely restored mine. Dang, this place is in bad shape. Whisper had really grown desperate at the end. I think she'd been siphoning off magic from the place a few of her own at the end. Good thing I was done with this dump. I also chained up all but her most basic magic. Her giant nightmare puppet fell to pieces, and the fog dissolved into nothing. I think Flutternice got scared I had said something I couldn't undo to Fluttershy. But Rainbow, Fluttershy begged, sobbing and sniffling. You wanted me to do this! You wanted to escape everything! You wanted us all safe! I did this because you wanted me to! This was our project! Not like this. Never like this. Nightmare Eclipse was the worst teacher possible, so stop following on her hoofsteps. We're just bad dreams. We need to fade away with the dawn. Please stop saying that about yourself, Rainbow. Please don't say that about our friends. We betrayed our friends, all of us, for a monster that kidnapped and enslaved each of our Twilights. We might not be those friends, but we're still friends. Her voice shook me in the way only Fluttershy's ever could. Dang it, you're right about that much, Fluttershy. The moment I start thinking you're not, that's when I'd be no better than Nightmare Eclipse. And let's just forget about you just don't listen to a thing I say, do you? I magically lifted her up and put her on my back. Come along, Fluttershy. We've got friends who want to talk to you. But it's not fair. I got you. Then I'd have saved every pony. No, Fluttershy. You wouldn't. Your puppets are gone. I just trashed your strings. Flutternice is out of the fight. You couldn't use a stare on me up close and direct a zillion constructs at the same time. I know you're tougher than you look, better than any pony. And I know you didn't have a way to pull out a win from this. I just need to beat those Grim Reapers, hold you off, save old Applejack, and get back all those ponies you kidnapped, and everything can be back to how it was. Shy, you can fight off a bunny rabbit right now. You've lost. Time to accept it. She didn't respond, just sobbed quietly. I sighed. For the record, I'm not angry that you kept these ponies in here to keep them from getting erased. If you'd just let them chill here, I'd have been perfectly content to ignore them while we face judgment. I'm upset because you toyed with them, just like Eclipse. You turned them into dolls for a place that I'd never asked for. It wasn't fair to them, or to us. Forgive me if I start skipping over stuff. Everything was so tiring. I was so tired. Just wanted to rest. Ponyville ponies got out a-okay, including the weather team and the Wonderbolts. Starlight and her 4 friends were still there, likely because we were. Zakora was the only, regular native still here. They were all as bruised, battered, and worn out as you'd expect. I actually saw Starlight in the ruins of Sugar Cube Corner mixing up milkshakes with whatever supplies hadn't been destroyed. The entire town was wrecked from the battle. It was a fake Ponyville, always had been, but it still wasn't fun to see an imitation of my home destroyed like this. The pieces of the puppets had been left where they had been destroyed, making the scene all the more morbid. The Scootaloo Alliance army of awesome, I think they were all waiting for me. 171,000 fillies I'd saved, out of billions of ponies I hadn't. They all looked at me. None of them hated me. Some looked at me with pity, some with admiration, some with friendship. Some were scared and alone. Some were just lost and didn't know what they were supposed to do now that the saving every pony part was done. They looked just as tired as I felt. A bunch had just taken pills at the houses to sit down and lean on each other. It wasn't like any pony was going to be taking them with them. Whatever relief plan the concepts had for every pony, I doubted they were going to have use for the imitation junk Fluttershy and I'd built for them. Granfaloon had ransacked everything in Sugar Cube Corner and was hoofing out towards the Scooter Troopers. Banneret was sleeping, wrapped around Carousel Boutique. I let him dream. Razaroo was guarding Flutternice in Golden Oak's library, reading her fairy tales. Mirror? Well, Mirror found us first. Applejack? Fluttershy looked up at her, wide-eyed. The stare had been sealed by my chains, along with the rest of her powers. There's already an Applejack in this world behind Sugar Cube, and it ain't me. She sighed. Come on, Fluttershy. I did this to you. Maybe I can help you, just a tiny bit. You, Applejack? I didn't think you approved of what I was— not what I meant. Maybe I can help you come back to your senses a little. Fluttershy shrank back, but she didn't run, mostly because of the chains. Mirror, I warned. Please, Rainbow. This is something I've got to do. Mirror ended up pulling Whisper along with her magic. I didn't have a right not to watch. She made her look at Zakora, then the Scootaloos, and she made her stick her head out through the portal. Look at him, Fluttershy. Look at him real good now. You forced them to be non-player characters for your gift to us. Remember who else traded ponies like that? Twilight? Calling them NPCs was Eclipse's last that she could live with herself. Every last pony we erased, it wasn't deleting an old save, it was murder. Can you say how many? How many? I can't remember. 657 septillion, Fluttershy. And that's not even counting the hundreds of decillions of creatures outside of a galaxy. That's why I did this! Whisper protested. To protect them! I didn't want the same thing to happen to them. That doesn't make me evil. This was my redemption! I heard her crack plenty of times, but there always seems to be room for one more. Mirror whispered to her. I'm sorry, Fluttershy. I really am. What you and Rainbow did, saving these ponies, that was good. It's better than if you didn't. But that doesn't balance out what we all were doing at the same time. Sure, you saved a few ponies. They're alive because of ya. But that doesn't change the fact that we killed every single one of their families 1,000 times over. A few drops of clear water doesn't erase an ocean of blood. And Fluttershy cried. No loud sobbing, just silent tears. I know that. And why haven't you been stopping them from fixing the damage? What? Fluttershy, you've been keeping them, us, your filly, all frozen. The same way Net or Eclipse kept Discord frozen. But they never experienced all those horrible things Discord did to them. They never happened. They were erased. Mira slapped her once. I winced, but stayed silent. Their brains might not remember, Fluttershy, but their souls do. Souls are timeless. They're not bound by when and where. What you did, you and Rainbow and the rest of us, you just painted over it. But take it from me, just painting over a barn's rotten termite damage. You can't see it, but it's still there all the same. Everything I showed you when you became this was true, and the whole truth, but not the only truth. Here's one. A real Fluttershy should know hiding from the pain is no way to help it heal. You've let thorn fester instead of pulling it out. Fluttershy said nothing in return. You know, we managed to get to you before your other selves usually started wishing to die, just to stop Fluttercurl from hurting more ponies. Before the war with Cadence or Grogoth, before the aliens. Hyrule had already done some horrible things, but it was nothing compared to what she'd become under Discord's influence. I said your filly needed professional help from the get-go, but you ignored me or twisted my words into whatever you wanted to hear, just like that Eclipse. You treated her very existence like a disease. You cured her love for me. You cured her love for her paw. You tried to cure her of her own dang cutie mark. You made her ashamed of the deepest part of her soul. We all saw what happened when she was allowed to indulge her natural impulses under her father's care. Maybe not in our line, but in every other one. Whisper shuddered, looking sick. I love her. Of course I do. But how can you expect any mother to respect a soul like hers? Unborn to be cruel, for whom every act of kindness is unnatural. How can you possibly ask me to accept a cutie mark like that? She ain't the evil creature you're making her out to be. She was so totally evil she wouldn't be able to love Discord or you, Mira retorted. There's no such thing as an evil cutie mark, and there's no such thing as an evil soul! I didn't want her to turn out like the other Fluttercurls, Whisper replied, in a pained voice. It's not like I ever showed her hatred. Was it wrong of me to show her any form of strictness and shepherd her away from evil impulses? Heck no, said Mir. But you didn't want any pony else touching her. Not after we were done fixing her of what she was. You were the only one allowed to tell her the facts of life and how to live. Whisper gave another shudder. Just a second ago, you said she needed professional help. Please tell me, where should I have sent her to? Which doctor, which magical therapist should I have given her to that would have done her right and fixed all her mental issues? See, that's a problem in itself, Mir counted. Sent her to, given her to, like she was some busted clock. You should have worked with a professional, with good teachers. That's what a parent is supposed to do. But like any nightmare, you couldn't even hear that maybe you were doing something wrong with her. Fluttershy said nothing. And the worst part, Fluttershy? Applejack asked, seriously. You continued after the elements healed us. The elements don't do half-assed jobs. You don't have the excuse of being a crazy nightmare. You messed up, Fluttershy. You messed up bad. You knew that already. But the way you were going about fixing it wasn't fixing it at all. Is it wrong that I didn't want my child to turn out as pet as the others? Fluttershy asked, tears in her eyes. Seeing so many Fluttercurls, seeing them all become worse than mine ever was. Is it wrong to be afraid? Jeez, when she puts it like that, I almost feel bad. And that makes it right? Mirror asked. Any more than me trying to protect Apple Pie makes anything I did worth it? Fluttershy was shaking now, on the verge of a breakdown. You did better than most would. You never asked for it. Discord violated you. But that never mattered to you. But that doesn't mean you've been in the right all this time. Yes, those Fluttercurls turned into cruelty incarnate. Yours didn't. Stop thinking like Nightmare Eclipse. She said nothing. And I'm sorry, Fluttershy, Mir said unhappily. And now I could feel Whisper flinch at that word too. But ponies aren't robots. You can't just fix them up like machines. Ponies need help, not repairs. You understood that once, Fluttershy. I muddied the water so much that you forgot that. All I'm asking, Fluttershy, is, even though there's no way I could ever deserve it. Here, Mirror hung her hat over her heart. Just please forgive me. Just a little. Whisper peeked out at her through watery eyes. And forgive yourself. You don't need to take on the weight of all our sins. Please, Fluttershy. Let us help you and each other, the right way. Applejack unfolded her wings and laid them over Fluttershy in a gentle embrace. Shy tried to pull away, but images of all the animals Fluttershy had cared for and loved over the years turned along Mirror's feathers, like he always used to do. The dam broke, and with a tired sob Fluttershy clutched her tight. I smiled and joined in. For a long moment, I felt like everything would be okay. Starlight asked us to help round up the remaining concept killers to get rid of them. None of us argued. After seeing so many ponies and worlds get retconned out of existence, I was perfectly happy to help get rid of weapons that could do that on a whim. Thanks to Celestia, the rods could be used to destroy themselves without causing universe-ending paradoxes. And after that, we all just kind of sat around, trying to figure out what to do next. We'd all been so focused on stopping Nightmare Whisper that we didn't have a clue what to do once the dust had settled. Didn't help that our rescuers hadn't heard back from the concepts yet. I don't think they realized they were eavesdropping. So what'll happen to them? Bright Eyes wondered. They aren't technically dead since they were rescued mid-timeline. They're full souls, not just shadows or lights, but they're all from different timelines with no way to go back, and they can't be inserted into the surviving timeline without displacing their counterparts. Not to mention the Scoodly Swarm. We've made sure neither death nor entropy can take them, at least, but I can't think of any solution other than splitting their lights and shadows. And frankly, I don't think any of the concepts want that for them. I do not feel fear, but need I remind you, one of them is right here. Oh, I'm sorry, Sakura. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to... That was rude. I apologize. It is all right, my dear. I sense no malice when you are near. Starlight spoke. One of my bosses, Rhoda Fortuna, told me that you'd all get unique treatment, Sakura. You've been effectively living the same day over and over all this time, so it doesn't really count as... Starlight stopped. Razru's thing. There is much you don't wish to say, for you fear it'll turn my mind to hay. Yeah, Starlight admitted. Rhoda Fortuna, the name Nightmare Eclipse complained about over and over again. She has one job! One job! It's clear she can't even do that right with how often mortals have screwed themselves over. That's one of the first things I'm fixing. Speaking of Twilight, where was she? The elements cured part of us, so they should have gotten all of her, right? Why hadn't she come to help us? Why haven't we even heard from her? Any of us? There was so much I wanted to discuss with her. I miss her, dang it. Somehow, I found a way to occupy my time. Or, well, they found me. There you go, Scoots, I said to Scootaloo number 99,050. Thanks, Dash! She hugged me and trotted away. Scootaloo number 99,051 trotted up to me, holding a napkin in her mouth. I dipped the quill in one of the countless inkwells we ransacked from the library, and read out Rainbow Danger Dash. I was running out of monikers. There you are, Squirt. You're the best, Rainbow Dash! She hugged me and flew past the herd behind her, smiling. Grimfloom provided me with very sweetened coffee. Mir provided me with cider, though given him a nightmare, getting drunk was near impossible. Spike helped keep me stocked up with his teleportation breath. After the battle, Scoots number 170,012 had asked me for my autograph. And, well, when you give a bear's bread a cookie. So, ready to scream, fly away, and hide in the closet yet? Spitfire! I grinned and got up to hug her without thinking. She hugged back. Guess my big scary nightmare nest wasn't bothering her as much as it should have. Nice to see you too, Rainbow Dash. So, how you holding up? I look at the orange herd. Just taking a break, Squirts. I'll be back to you in a minute. Some pouted, some sat down, some fluttered their wings restlessly, but all understood. I blocked their view with a wing and whispered to Spitfire. It's boring. It's worse than cloud pushing, Diddy, and I feel like my horn is gonna fall off. I'd stopped using my hooves when they cramped up, and stopped using my mouth when my teeth felt numb. But it makes them so happy I can't bring myself to stop. Welcome to my world, Spitfire said, giving me a nuzzle. I know I promised to tell you everything later, but I trailed off. Technically, Soren asked you to promise us all a full answer. You never did, Spitfire said. All the same, you helped me save Everpony. You don't deserve to be left in the dark. I did my duty to protect Equestria and its ponies, and so did my teammates. I don't know how we got stuck here, or how you guys turned into Nightmare Moon ripoffs, or why Fluttershy of all ponies is behind this. And I won't lie that it's bothering me and the others. Where are they? We got a full bill of health from the Void Pocket thing, but we agreed to hang out in Cloudsdale Stadium until we could get home. Only chance we'll get to fly a win into Cloudsdale without worrying about smashing something. Spitfire grinned dryly. But seriously, Dash, can you tell me what's going on? Spitfire, if I told you, you'd go crazy. I already did. Are we dead? No. Are we golems? No. Clones? No. Am I figments of your imagination? No. Are we dreams of a long-lost civilization given solid form into the real world? No. What? Surprise's pet theory. I sighed. I swear to Celestia, you are Spitfire, flesh and blood, born from your mother and father. Same with the rest of your teammates, and most of the other ponies here. Well, that's good to know. Just know these girls that helped us beat Fluttershy's army are setting up everything to get you home. That's really all you need to know about. Not all. She peeked through my feathers at the sea of orange. Why the hell are there 1,000 identical fillies here? 171,015, I corrected automatically. She raised an eyebrow. Would you believe I rescued them from destroyed universes? How's that not even the craziest thing I've heard or seen today? Sure, whatever. Thank goodness I didn't have to admit I rescued her from a destroyed universe. Or who did this drawing? Yeah, it's a long story. Can I have some of that cider? She asked. Be my guest. She uncorked it casually and took a swig. That filly, these fillies, they must mean a lot to you, huh? Probably one of the most important ponies in the world. I think you're hers too. Speaking of you, are you okay? Better than I used to be, that's for sure. Good. I should probably let you get back to your fans. Pro tip, use cursive. It's faster than you can get away with scribbling more. Before heading back to her teammates, Spitfire gave the Scoots army a free show and some flying tips. Can't say I didn't enjoy it too. And naturally, here's Kidaloo asked for her autograph too. None of us were being guarded, but it's not like we had any plans of running. Not anymore. Bright Eyes finally gave us one of the many explanations we'd been waiting for. Your lights of existence were cured while they were projecting through Nightmare Eclipse, but your shadows were stuck here and therefore unaffected. You've essentially got the hearts of mortal alicorns and the minds of nightmares. Whisper admitted to having glued Applejack's pocket world to mine to make up for the border cutting off at the farm, leaving just Bannerat's Horde Cave, Whisper's Everyarn Forest, Twilight's Tower Library, and Granfluen's chaotic mess of a party room. Granfluen's place was never exactly the same twice. Sometimes it was Sugar Cube Corner, sometimes a circus, sometimes a theme park. Sometimes it was a grand galloping gala exactly how she'd imagined it, the only guests being us, imaginary friends brought to life as balloon ponies, and the occasional dreaming pony from my room. Our living room had gotten mildly exploded sometime between Fluttershy drawing us in here and Twilight completing her ascension. We could still use it as a passage between rooms, but most of what we'd stored in there was gone now. We all added our lost video game data to the list of things to mourn. None of us knew what to do with our little 5 pocket worlds, since none of us were sure what was going to happen to us, the Scoodaloos, or the rest of the Ponyville ponies. Part of me felt scared to ask. Personally, I'd be happy to blow my pocket world to smithereens after we were done here. Why do you want to do that, Dashi? I think it's a nice tribute, Granflin asked. It's a mockery of how Ponyville used to be, I said. Besides, I'm kind of sick of Ponyville, to be honest. Sick of it? Too many memories. I sighed. I don't know about you, Pinky, but from here on out, I don't want to stay in the past. I've been staying here for who knows how long. I don't know if I belong here anymore. Granflin hummed and magicked up a giant red velvet cupcake. I kinda know how you feel, but sometimes the past can be good. Like remembering a favorite recipe. She seems genuinely happy saying that. Like whenever a version of Celestia talked about how pretty the day was, or Luna about her beautiful night. Thanks, Pinky. The cupcake was sweet and delicious, and Granflin smiled when I patted her back. We weren't prisoners, but it was pretty clearly just a matter of time until we'd have to face the music. And still, Twilight Sparkle didn't come. Why? Did she not want to even look at us? Twilight, were you too ashamed of what you did to face us? Or were you ashamed of us? But I couldn't dwell on her for too long. There was something I needed to know now, me and the rest of my herd, even Flutternice. What's gonna happen to the Ponyville ponies? What's gonna happen to Scootaloo? The Scootaloo herd is complicated. There's no precedent for them all. They're being addressed on a case-by-case basis, Starlight informs me. And the Ponyville ponies? I asked, looking towards Sakura. Clover glanced at her too, ears pinned back. Sakura, maybe it'd be better if you waited outside. Stay where you are, Sakura. This is your business, Mira thundered. Sakura stayed perfectly calm, a reed in the wind. Starlight, tell us upright. Would this truth be a blessing or a blight? It might hurt you horribly, it might destroy you, but you'd understand what was going on better. I may not like being on the bottom rung, but would it change what needs to be done? No. Then I trust you know what's best, if you do me but one request. Yes? At the end of my road, when you come to take my soul, my understanding of these events you will make whole. What makes you think do not contradict what I say, the wings on the side through a dead giveaway. Starlight smiled sadly. When you die, I promise I'll tell you everything. Cross my heart, hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye. All right, my dear. For now, I won't be near. Sakura hugged her, bowed to the rest of us, and trotted outside to the other side of Sugar Cube Corner. You promised to send them all home, Melody said. You mean the homes we destroyed? Mira asked skeptically. Nah, they'll be getting a new one, Crouch grinned. We finally heard back from the concepts. They've decided to construct an entire full-size universe to house these guys. Mira stared. So you're trading the goldfish bowl for an aquarium? No way, said Melody. It'll become part of the natural cycle and become its own world line, Starlight said. This won't be a facsimile, but a true new universe for them. As they're living their lives forward, history will run backward until it reaches the dawn of time. It's going to be their world. The puppets will be given their own lights straight from Fauna Luster to make things a bit easier. You're gonna need a lot of crickets, Applejack said flatly. Good one, Patch smirked. You think this is a joke? Not in the least, Bright Eyes said, standing up for Patch, like facing an angry half-baked concept was old hat for her. All the ponies here, they lost everything. The least that can be done is giving them a new home where they can live their lives freely and have a future to call their own. I know it's not perfect, I know it's not fair, but it's better than the alternatives, Clover said meekly. Hey, don't sweat it, I said with a chummy, easygoing smile. Never expected life to be fair. Just do the best you can. To be honest, you're being more fair than we ever were. Death is the ultimate fairness, Starlight said with a bit of pride. Then, more hesitantly, we were thinking of using your pocket world as sort of a base, if you'll let us. My friends and I all looked at each other in silent agreement, then nodded. But what about Scootaloo? I asked again. I think somebody's going to notice 170,000 identical fillies running around. And every last one of them has the right to exist simultaneously and be called Scootaloo, Nightmare agreed. Like we said, case-by-case basis, Bright Eyes shrugged. Can you tell us who's going to be making a whole universe for every pony? They must be super powerful and super nice to do all that, Gramfaloon asked. The angels all looked at each other. Clover blushed. Why are you looking at us? Asked Gramfaloon. Starlight coughed. Well, our higher-ups would like to offer you the chance to become part of the new universe after everything is settled, as well as the chance to take the trials to complete your changes and concepts, should you so choose. If you do, and if you are interested in being concepts for this new universe in particular, you'll be offered the chance to merge with the versions of yourself in this world line. Though if there are any other options you'd like, we can probably— Yes, excuse me, I said, holding up a hoof with a strained smile. I actually do have a question. A few, in fact. By all means, ask, Clover invited. Well, you realize that my associates and I are, in fact, nightmares. That so? I hadn't noticed, Starlight said, smiling. Yeah, and there's an unfortunate but well-established history of being exceptionally bad caretakers for mortals, as in apocalyptic-level divine intervention required bad. Bright Eyes clapped her hooves together, grinning. Completely and utterly correct. We'd have to be utterly insane to accept orders from obviously completely insane superiors to ever consider having nightmares be part of building a new universe. We're not that impotent. Patch snickered at us like we were the victims of a good prank. Melody smirked. Clover looked away pointedly. Then why are you offering to have us in charge of an entire universe before any of us have sat down for a single therapy session like you promised? Well, for starters, we did say after the dust was settled, Bright Eyes said. In other words, after, if you've chosen to become true concepts, and therefore aren't nightmares anymore. Oh. Starlight chewed on her lip for a second, then looked at Mirror. Applejack, I think it's time to show her. Mirror looked reluctant. I'm not sure she's ready. She's never going to be at this rate. Mirror seemed at war with herself for a second before she sighed and opened a wing in my face. And I saw the mortal Rainbow Dash, except with a horn on her head and typical Earth Pony bulk. Her rainbow mane was just regular hair, frazzled but not yet a rat's nest. Regular pony eyes looked back at me tiredly. She was wearing my armor, but it looked a tad bit big on her. She was tired, hurt, but not broken. And her cutie mark, her colors were— Hey, who put that zinnia flower on my mane? And why the hell do I know what a zinnia is? That's on the inside, Rainbow, Applejack said. Starlight looked at me. Rainbow, your nightmare's on the outside, but not inside. I'm not going to pretend you don't need some help, but nightmares can't say I was wrong. If you were so nightmare-manical, you wouldn't hesitate to make a world of your own virtues. I hadn't thought of that. Stupid self-loathing making me ignore the big picture. My friends all gave me a hug, even Spike with his pinky claw. The Rainbow Dash and Mirror's wings smiled right before she closed them. I was stunned when Starlight and the gang joined in, but I didn't resist. It felt nice. All too soon, though, the group hug broke. Now then, Applejack, Raspberry's volunteered to oversee construction, Starlight said. She wants to take part in seeing a new world made after seeing her old world vanish, and she's on the verge of becoming an alicorn anyway. Who's doing the grunt labor? Mirror asked. I am. Discord? Hello, Discord waved. He was wearing a black and white striped prison uniform and hat. Around his ankle was a ball and chain. It's part of my parole, work release, community service, restitution, whatever you'd like to call it. So, yeah, I'm building an entire universe by myself. With the power I used to have, it might have taken me 8 days tops. Now, it'll take me a bit longer. What?